Good day, students of MOGS, and good day to all our stakeholders. I am back with another episode of our TV-based learning. I am Sir Kusher of MOGS, your partner in learning. Today is another edition of our Health 10 TV-based learning. Let me greet our dear grade 10 students, our dear parents, and everyone watching. So all the grade 10 students of MOGS, please give me all ears and bear with me with the next 30 minutes of our discussion. Before anything else, feel free to relax in your most comfortable place. Make sure to have a full screen and set your speaker to the right volume. Now that you are ready to engage into another learning experience, please grab your pen and your notebook for the important points of today's lesson. So sit back, relax, and listen carefully. Before we proceed to our main topic, I want to know how much you've already learned about our lesson. Let's answer Activity 1 by unscrambling the letters found in your screen. Get your pen and your answer sheets and let's start. Now let's answer your activity. 1. Acapulco. 2. Ampalaya. 3. Bawang. 4. Bayabas. 5. Lagundi. 6. Niyog-niyugan. 7. Sampong. 8. Chaang gubat. 9. Pansit-pansitan. And the last one is Yerba Buena. Who got a perfect score?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Now let's proceed to our lesson. Our Our first topic for today is reproductive health law. What is reproductive health? Reproductive health is defined as the state of physical, mental, and social well-being in all matters relating to the reproductive system at all stages of life. The first law aims to aid the reproductive health needs of the citizens. The government-mandated the Republic Act 10354, also known as the Responsible Parenthood and Reproductive Health Act. The following are the pillars in founding the Republic Act 10354. The first pillar is informed choice. The Act stated that effective and quality reproductive health care services which are ethically and medically safe, legal, accessible, and affordable shall be given primacy to ensure the health of the mother and child.
Mid-morning on a weekday and Quiapo Church in the heart of Manila is still crowded with the faithful. Right outside the popular Catholic shrine, business of a more worldly nature also goes on as normal. Traders peddle less sacred answers to those with desperate prayers. Some considered not just immoral here, but also illegal. This policeman goes after one such vendor caught selling prohibited prescription pills. Ulcer medication that has been banned here for years because women use it to induce abortions. Wanting to hide her identity, Grace says she's never told her family that for years she set aside her own conscience to make money.
I know it's a sin. You help someone kill their baby, so I don't do it anymore. But it made a big difference in earnings.
Grace says she didn't go a day without buyers, even though the pills are sold with as much as a 300% markup. Hundreds of other vendors continue to sell them outside churches across the city.
Health officials estimate that there are more than 500,000 illegal abortions performed here every year, most of them on married women. But there is also a large number of young, unmarried women who would rather risk their lives than take on the responsibility of having a baby.
24-year-old Jenny is one of them. So as not to be ostracized by society, she says she has to hide her face to tell her story. Finding herself pregnant 3 years ago, she took drastic measures when the Quiapo pills failed to induce an abortion.
It was a house. They asked me to lie down on the bed and they just started doing it. I was scared of infection. I was scared of bleeding. I was scared of scarring because you don't know if these people actually know what they're doing. But more than that is the fear of pushing through with the pregnancies.
That a growing number of young women would take a similar gamble has health officials concerned, but they seem unable to do much to stop it. And legalizing abortion so it can be regulated is not an option.
Our moral and ethical upbringing, our society doesn't accept such abortion.
And so the cycle continues. The focus now to expand education and reproductive health, even in Quiapo Church. Officials hope that by bringing talk of sex and its risks into the open, fewer women will have to search in the shadows for solutions. Margo Ortiga.
The second pillar is respect for life. The Act recognizes that abortion is illegal and punishable by law.
Huwag mong subukan. Masisira ang buhay mo.
However, mothers will be identified to have aborted an unborn child will be served with post-abortive treatment and counseling in a humane, non-judgmental, and compassionate manner.
I want to talk to you frankly about birth control, a subject that many women find sensitive, confusing, or embarrassing. Statistics show half of all pregnancies are unplanned. Fortunately, there are many ways to prevent pregnancy. You don't have to depend on chance or your partner. Birth control is your right and your choice. You can choose from many options. Talk to your doctor about what method is right for you. The most effective birth control methods are ones like an IUD or a hormonal implant in your arm. They are inserted by your doctor, are long-lasting, and reversible. When you are ready to start a family, your doctor removes your IUD or implant. Other effective methods are birth control pills, which you have to remember to take every day. You can also wear a patch or a vaginal ring that you change less often. Less effective methods are ones like natural family planning, in which you avoid intercourse at the times of the month when you think you might get pregnant, and barrier methods like condoms, the diaphragm, and spermicides. But only condoms protect against STIs or sexually transmitted infections like HIV, chlamydia, or gonorrhea. Communication about birth control is key. Talk to your partner and your doctor. You have the right to have children when you want to. Don't leave such an important matter to chance.
The third pillar is birth control. Reproductive health care, information, and supplies shall be made available, most especially to poor beneficiaries. However, the Act provisions also that the government must respect the citizens' individual preferences and choices of family planning method. The last pillar is responsible parenthood. Couples determine their ideal family size. In addition, the government shall equip each parent with needed information in all aspects of family life and reproductive health. The second law is Republic Act 8504, or the Philippine AIDS Prevention and Control Act of 1990. It is an act that promulgates policies and prescribing measures for the prevention of HIV/AIDS in the Philippines, establishing a comprehensive HIV/AIDS monitoring system, strengthening the Philippine National AIDS Council. So what is AIDS?
About 37 million people around the world are currently living with AIDS, making the disease one of the worst pandemics in modern history. AIDS, or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, is a disease in which the human immune system is severely impaired. It's caused by the human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, and is the last stage of the virus's infection. HIV attacks by entering the bloodstream and attaches to helper T or CD4 cells. A type of white blood cell, CD4 cells are responsible for fighting infections. First, HIV attaches itself to a CD4 cell and fuses with it. Then, HIV releases its genetic material into the CD4 cell, which combines with the cell's DNA. This allows the virus to produce more HIV proteins inside the cell. The proteins are then packaged and released to attack other CD4 cells. Without HIV medicines, an individual's infection may spread and within 10 to 12 years, advance to become AIDS. This decreased immunity makes patients with AIDS vulnerable to a number of diseases, including infections, dementia, and cancer. Scientists believe that HIV originated in West Central Africa, where a similar virus was found in chimpanzees and gorillas. Around the turn of the 20th century, the virus was transmitted to humans due to the handling of chimpanzee meat. The virus then spread from the African continent during the mid-1960s through a single carrier, eventually making its way around the world. In 1982, scientists labeled the illness as AIDS, and the following year identified the virus as HIV. Ever since, about 77.3 million people around the world have contracted HIV, with the majority of affected individuals living in countries with very few resources. Scientists are working to one day develop a cure for AIDS. In the meantime, advancements in biotechnology, plus increased awareness, prevention, and access to health care are saving many lives and may hold the key to finally exterminating the disease.
Let us watch a news report of the status of AIDS in the Philippines last December 2020.
Simpleng simbolo pero makahulugan ng pulang ribbon para sa mga people living with HIV o PLHIV. Ginugunita ngayon ang World AIDS Day na layong magsulong ng kaalaman tungkol sa HIV/AIDS. Sa buong mundo, umabot na sa 32.7 million ang nasawi sa AIDS-related illnesses sa nakaraang 4 na dekada.
Naton pagkahadlukan, kag hindi ninyo pag i-discriminar ang tao nga may HIV o kung may AIDS naman, no? Instead, no, dapat naton gani sila pagabuligan, dapat naton sila gani i-push nga magkadto sa isa ka treatment facility para magpabulong.
Hanggang ngayon, walang tiyak na lunas o bakuna sa HIV na umaatake sa immune system, ang pandepensa ng katawan sa iba't ibang uri ng virus at impeksyon. Kapag napabayaan, posibleng mauwi ito sa Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome o AIDS. Sa datos noong 2019, 38 million ang people living with HIV sa buong mundo. 1.7 million sa kanila newly infected. 690,000 ang nasawi sa mga sakit na may kinalaman sa AIDS. Sa Pilipinas, mahigit 81,000 cases na ang inireport mula 1984 hanggang ngayong taon. Karamihan, mga lalaki. 735 ang confirmed HIV positive nito lang Oktubre. On average, 21 bagong kaso ng HIV ang iniuulat sa Pilipinas kada araw.
The HIV epidemic in the Philippines is rapidly increasing. The number of new infections increased by 214% from 2010 to 2019. It is estimated that there will be more than 111,000 Filipinos living with HIV by the end of the year.
Ang inaasahan ngayon ng people living with HIV, antiretroviral treatment para makontrol ang virus. Sa Pilipinas, mahigit 45,000 ang sumasailalim dito. Ang problema, ilang may HIV ang hirap makakuha ng gamot sa gitna ng COVID pandemic. Problema rin ang limitadong transportasyon papunta sa mga treatment hub.
Yung unang-unang naging problema namin ay yung pagre-refill ng mga aming antiretroviral. Lahat ng ospital ay halos COVID hospital, diba? So ngayon, ang naging problema namin, paano yung mga kapunti na yung gamot?
The pandemic affected the delivery of HIV-related services, particularly in testing, treatment, and access to antiretroviral drugs and other commodities.
Ayon sa World Health Organization, sa 127 na bansang sinurvey nila, mahigit 1/4 ang apektado ng antiretroviral treatment noong mga unang buwan ng 2020. Sa ilalim ng Philippine HIV and AIDS Policy Act, libre at accessible dapat ang HIV treatment. Kaya ang mga PLHIV gaya ni Elena, umaasang di sila pababayaan ng gobyerno sa gitna ng magkasabay na peligro ng HIV at COVID-19.
Kung may pandemya, ano yung dapat gawin? Saan dapat mag-refill? Ano yung kailangan? Si DSWD, ano yung pwedeng gawin ng DSWD para sa PLHIV? Kung meron pa, dapat tuloy-tuloy yung budget.
Now, let's start this short reminder by the DOH.
Teka, patunayan mo munang mahal mo ko.
Ano ba ang best way?
Madali lang. A, B, C.
Anong ABC?
A for abstain. Hugs lang muna, babes, kasi sa kissing nag-i-start lahat.
Ha?
And B for be faithful to your partner.
Eh, ano yung C?
And C, check mo.
Pumunta sa pinakamalapit na social hygiene clinics and HIV testing centers. Maganda na ang sigurado. Isang paalala mula sa inyong DOH.
To proceed to our next lesson, let us watch this short clip.
A lot of us have an idea in our heads about what a person addicted to drugs looks like. But the truth is, anyone can become addicted to drugs. Addiction is when you feel a strong urge to keep taking a drug, even if it is causing harm. To stop, ask for help. Drug addiction doesn't depend on your income, your job, your age, race, or color. Addiction is a disease of the brain, and it can happen to anyone. You probably already know that you can become addicted to tobacco, alcohol, and illegal drugs. But even prescription drugs can be addictive when not taken as directed or when you take medication not prescribed for you. There are scientists who study drug abuse. Their research has taught us a lot about what makes you more likely to become addicted to drugs. Things like having family members who have had a drug problem, starting drugs at a young age, having mental health problems like depression, or hanging around other people who use drugs, all put you at risk. But you do not become addicted if you don't take drugs. If you or someone you love has a problem, get help. And if you do become addicted, you can be treated and you can recover.
Before we dive into our lesson, let's answer Activity 1, Identify the example of drugs. Aerosol, alcohol, tobacco, cocaine, paints, caffeine, gasoline, acetone, Valium, ecstasy. Now let's answer the activity. Drugs under stimulants: tobacco, cocaine, caffeine, ecstasy. The drugs under depressants: alcohol and Valium. The drugs under inhalants: aerosol, paints, gasoline, and acetone. Did you get all the items correctly?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Our next topic is substance use and abuse. What is gateway drugs?
Huwag mong subukan. Masisira ang
Gateway
buhay.
drugs are drugs that people use initially that may lead to the abuse of illegal drugs. Alcohol and tobacco are gateway drugs. When alcohol is consumed, the central nervous system is affected. Thus, a person is more vulnerable to doing dangerous acts because of depressed decision-making skills.
I will not hesitate. My orders are sa police pati military. Shoot them dead.
The government provides protection for these gateway drugs through the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act and Tobacco Regulation Act.
Huwag mong subukan. Masisira ang buhay mo.
The Republic Act 9165 or the Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002 protects the citizens from the harmful effects of drugs to their physical and mental well-being.
Huwag ho ninyong gawain yan. Ito na yung warning ko. Yun na yung last. Wala nang iba.
The Act also restricts access to sale of tobacco products to minors and may not be sold 100 meters away from school. When it comes to advertising and promotions, the Act provisions the printing of warnings on cigarette packs in either Filipino or English and should include health warning. Let's watch this.
It's like you're screaming, and no one can hear you. You almost feel ashamed that something can be that important to you that without it, you feel nothing. My name's Emily, and I've built my life around chasing the high. I wouldn't call it an addiction, I'd call it my normality. When something hurts your body so bad it stops hurting and you start to shut down. The only thing that feels close to living is something that is actually killing you. It's like you're looking into darkness and you can't find a way out. Everyone around you starts to distance themselves, even your own family turn their back on you. Because the truth is, you're not their little girl, you're just someone who's so dosed up you can't tell the day from the night. No one will ever understand how much it hurts, yet you can't help it. You can't even help yourself. You almost wish you could have all the bad back, so you can have a little bit of the good. Alone, broken, helpless, and pain are the thoughts that go around in your head. You almost feel ashamed. But you know when you take it for a few hours, you are numb from the world. You're happy. You're satisfied. But then it all comes back. It's like a flood. The truth catches up on you. And the truth is, you want to be that little girl again. The one you recognise. The one that was pure and clean. There's always something that pulls you back every time. And that's the feeling of being free.
In addition to those laws and warnings from our government, let us all consider our reproductive health and do not abuse drugs in any way. I hope you learned something from our topic today. Always remember that your health is your wealth. That concludes our lesson for today. See you in the next episode. This is Sir Kusher saying, learning is not, and will not stop despite of a pandemic.